Snow fell in slow, trembling spirals outside the cafe window, like the sky itself was unsure whether to let go. Inside, Claire Bennett sat alone at a small table near the frosted glass, her hands wrapped around a cup of cooling coffee she had barely touched. Christmas Eve had always been her favorite night of the year, but this time, it wrapped around her like a reminder of everything missing, everything fragile. She had taken a chance, reached out to a stranger online who seemed kind, honest, and in need of a friend. They had agreed to meet at 6 p.m. Now it was almost 7. The ache that had been sleeping quietly inside her chest for months stirred awake again, whispering that she should have known better than to believe someone might show up for her. If you believe in kindness, hope, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means so much. The cafe in Denver glowed with soft yellow lights, pine garlands, and a single wreath that hung crookedly over the counter. People chatted, laughed, and wrapped themselves in warm coats as they hurried home to families waiting with hugs and traditions. Claire watched them and wondered when she had stopped being part of something like that. After losing her mother earlier that year, the holidays had become a quiet landscape she was still learning to cross. She told herself she wasn't lonely, just drifting. Still, she had hoped that meeting someone new, someone who had written with sincerity and gentleness, might stir a little life back into her heart. She reread the last message he sent, "I might be a little late. I promise I'm trying." His name was Nathan Carter, a single father raising his 6-year-old son, someone who confessed that Christmas was hard for him too. He worked long hours, struggled to stay afloat, and somehow still found the courage to reach out to a stranger for a simple conversation on Christmas Eve. Claire admired that kind of quiet bravery. But as the minutes trickled away, her hope dimmed. Just as she finally decided to leave, the door swung open with a sharp gust of cold. A man stepped inside, breathless, snow dusting his hair and shoulders. He looked around frantically, like he was searching for something he feared he had lost. When his eyes landed on her, everything in his expression softened. Claire felt something shift inside her at that moment, something unfamiliar yet warm, because it was clear he hadn't given up. He had made it. Nathan approached the table with an apology already written across his tired face, and though no words were exchanged aloud in this storytelling style, the truth was etched into his every movement. He carried a heaviness, the kind people wore when life had pushed them too hard for too long. Claire sensed immediately that tonight wasn't just a meeting for him, it was a deep breath after months of barely staying above water. He sat down, and for a moment they simply existed in the quiet between them, letting the warmth of the cafe wrap around their fragile hearts. Claire took in the details, his worn jacket, his roughened hands, the exhaustion lingering in his eyes. Yet there was also gentleness there, a kindness shaped by struggle and resilience. Nathan, for his part, noticed the sadness she tried to hide, the way her smile flickered like a candle trying to stay lit. Two strangers carrying different wounds, somehow arriving at the same small table on the most tender night of the year. As they talked, Claire learned he had been late because he'd worked an unexpected shift at the auto shop, then rushed to pick up his son's donated Christmas gift from a local charity, only to get stuck in heavy snow on the way. He could have given up. He could have chosen to go home, exhausted and defeated. But instead, he showed up for her. That alone cracked something open inside Claire, something she hadn't realized had frozen. The conversation flowed slowly, gently, like a river carving new lines in old stone. Nathan told her about losing his wife 3 years earlier and doing everything he could to keep life stable for his son, even when money, time, and hope all felt too thin. Claire shared her own losses, her grief, the way Christmas lights now made her chest tighten instead of glow. They didn't offer each other solutions, just presence. And sometimes presence is the closest thing to a miracle. Hours passed without them noticing. Outside, the snow thickened until the world looked softer, quieter, like it was listening. Claire felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, a sense of belonging. Nathan, too, seemed lighter, as though simply being seen without judgment had lifted something off his shoulders. When the cafe prepared to close early for the holiday, they stood together near the window. Nathan hesitated, then told her something that made the air in her lungs still. He said he hadn't expected anyone to care about a man like him, a man who was always late, always tired, always trying and always falling short. But she waited. Even when she didn't know if he'd come, she waited. And to him, that meant more than she could ever understand. Claire felt her heart twist gently, the way hearts do when they recognize something true. She realized that sometimes the people who arrive late are the ones carrying the heaviest loads, the ones fighting battles no one else sees. And sometimes the greatest act of love is simply staying long enough for them to catch their breath. They stepped outside together into the snow-lit night, both changed in small but powerful ways. Nathan offered to walk her to her car, and Claire knew this wasn't the end of their story, it was the beginning of something tender, something healing. Christmas Eve had brought her a stranger who felt strangely familiar, like someone she had been meant to meet all along. By the time they parted, Claire no longer felt like she was drifting. She felt grounded, connected, and hopeful. Nathan, too, walked away feeling stronger, grateful that someone had looked at him and seen more than struggle. Seen the man he was still trying to become. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who might need hope tonight, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Before the ending, please comment below, do you believe people come into our lives at the exact right moment? And so, beneath falling snow on a quiet Colorado street, two lonely souls found warmth again, not in grand gestures or perfect circumstances, but in the simple, grace-filled miracle of showing up for each other on Christmas Eve.